How's it going, YouTube? My name is Ricky. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Shadow. Seriously, what are you doing, buddy? Yeah. So Shadow loves watching anything being done on the computer for some reason. He's got to always be in the way. So don't mind him. Anyways, today we're going to be taking a look at the song Lamb of God by Upper Room. This song is in the key of B flat. If you go to the YouTube video from Upper Room, you can see the guitarist, the acoustic guitarist at least, put Capo on the 3rd fret, so he's playing the key of G chords. So we're mainly going to be the three main chords in the intro, the pre-chorus, the chorus, and the verses are all going to be E minor, C, and G. And then we get to the chorus, and we're going to have an A minor 7th in there as well. And then we get to the bridge, and there's a D in there. So your basic G, G major chords. So it should be pretty easy. I will say that the timing on this picking pattern seems easy, but it is a little deceptive. It's got a switch to that G is a little early than what you would anticipate it, so it can be a little tricky to get that muscle memory down. Once that muscle memory is down, it's really not too hard. We will break this down into a couple different sections. You're going to have the intro and the verses are going to be the same. And then you're going to have the pre-chorus, which is really the same thing as the intro and the verses. However, the timing of the picking pattern changes very slightly, and we'll kind of talk about that a little bit. The bridge does have a... for the acoustic, I just kind of strum the chords there in the first position, and then there is a little bit of a lead line on the electric guitar that I will show you. The electric guitar in this also does some kind of like ambient sounds in some of the verses. I'm not really going to go through all that kind of stuff. It sounds to me like he's mainly using kind of like root notes and just kind of matching the tempo of the chord change. You can kind of dig into that if you want. There is also a basic droning in verse 2 with the electric guitar. We'll talk about that a little bit when I switch guitars. We're going to go ahead and start with with the intro, and the verse is going to be the first chord is E minor, and the pattern is, like I said, it's a little weird. So it's going to go from E minor to C to G, and the pattern goes a little bit like this. So you see that the timing's a little weird when that switch to the G. So the E open, and then you're going to skip the A, go down to the D string on the 4th fret, and then the G open. So, and then the C. You're just hitting the first 2 notes of the C. So C, and then you're actually going to be on that 4th fret of the D string again, and then immediately to the G up top. So, and for that G, you're just going to E string, 4th fret on that D string again, and G open. So, and that basically just repeats through the entire intro into the first verse. And when you get to the pre-chorus, now these chords are going to stay the same, so you're still going to have that E, the C, except for this time, instead of just hitting the first 2 notes, you'll hit all 3. And then the G will be that normal timing, so it's going to be... And then when you get to the chorus, now this is where the chords will change. You're going to start off with the G, and just keep that same picking pattern going. E minor, the C, the A minor, A minor 7. And all I'm doing is I'm just lifting, you know, the finger up, and I'm holding down that 4th fret there on that D string. So, and on the G. It repeats again. So then it goes into the bridge. All right, and so then we get to the bridge, and the acoustic is basically just going to play the chords D, E minor, C, G. So D, E minor, C, G. Just repeat that until you go back into the verse. And then you'll just repeat the verse again. And that's pretty much the acoustic part of the song. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple.